How's it going, Dave and Comic Book Investments? It's been a while. I was out on vacation, but now I'm back to do some videos for you guys. And this is going to be kind of a dual video. I'm going to talk a little bit about CGC just dropped its list of comic books that are potential fraud. And I will talk about some comic books I got in, like the X-Men, Spider-Man 129, my normal back from CGC week or grading company week. But yeah, so about the list. Now, a lot of people have been covering it. Swaggle House has been doing a great job of it. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm sure you guys know the whole backstory. Someone's been sending in books and getting them reholdered, but they're switching out the books. So they probably send in like a 9.4, 9.6 or something like that, and then get a 9.8 because CGC just reholders it. I don't know exactly 100% what's going on. But the thing is with CGC, they say there's like 300 and something books or whatever it was, 500 or whatever the amount was. That's only the ones that basically what they did is they looked at the serial number, they looked up who was the person that sent in those books, and they just go, oh, all of his books. Okay, suspect, right? But the thing is, this person's probably been doing it way longer than that with other accounts. And other people have probably been doing it for a long, long time as well. So yeah, I mean, there's been times when I look at a book and I'm like, oh, I think I can get a higher grade, and crack it out and like, it's missing a page, or there's a coupon cut out. It's like, how did CGC miss this? Or there's restoration. And so maybe it could have been CGC missing it, or maybe it's someone else, causing fraud and cracking them out and putting them in and all that kind of stuff and selling them to other people. I really don't know at this point now. But here's the crazy thing. And it is beyond me why CGC didn't catch this, because to me this is a massive red flag, what I'm about to show you. So this is going to be kind of a rant. I can't believe I saw the list. Now, I'm not going to go through every single comic on that list, but I'll tell you ones that stood out. Now, there's a lot of Spider-Man number 3 or 2 and just like one of those books, things like that. A lot of it, it's random Fantastic Four number 45, just stuff like that. But the ones that stood out the most to me were the ones that there were multiples of, and a few other ones. So, first one, there were three Spider-Man 129s. Three of those, not that many. There was 59 Spider-Man 124s, all 9.8. Think about that. 59 Spider-Man 194. And in total, there is 544 on the census. 10% of those books are fake. This is probably what they did, is they probably got a 9.8, a really nice looking 9.8, where you get a 9.8 every single time. They then cracked out the 9.8, slid in a 9.4, 9.2, color touch, missing coupon, whatever, of a 194, whatever it was, a lower grade. Send a reholder, get a 9.8, send the 9.8 back in. It gets that, send the real 9.8 back in, gets the 9.8, comes back, cracks it out, puts in another one. Just like this, all day long. 59. That, I said, 544 on census. That means you take away that 59. Oh, geez. I have to do math now. Now you're looking at like 400 and whatever it is, 80 something, 70 something. I don't know. Anyways, so really there's like 480 books that are 9.8 to begin with. And then he fraudulently put in 59 in there. So think about that. That's more than 10% technically. And all 9.8s. Like, you would think CGC would go like, that's kind of odd. This guy keeps on sending them in, and they keep on coming back 9.8s. Like, don't you have something in your system to like flag something that ridiculous? All right, let's go on to the next big one. Spider-Man 238, all 9.8s. 36. First Hobgoblins, 9.8s. That's not raising any red flags. Also, there's a couple of like price variants and Mark Jewelers, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. Spider-Man 252, I thought this was actually quite low compared to the other ones. 13 of those. Here's the big one. Spider-Man 300, first Venom. There were 9.6s and 9.8s, both of them. So he sent in 104. There's 1,500 and a 9.8 on there. So, basically way less than that is real. And think of all the other people who are doing it. So 104? Like, this doesn't, like, you would think I would just, someone at CGC is like looking through and going through like people's stuff. Man, this person sends in a lot of Spider-Man 300s. I mean, he's sending like 5 at a time, 5 at a time, 10 at a time. I don't know how many he's sending at a time. He could bought like multiple 9.8s and multiple 9.6s and switching them out, going around and around. And no red flags, nothing. They look at his little file there and they go, wow, he's sending about 100 Spider-Man 300s. That's odd. Who even comes across that? I've been doing this for like 15 years. I probably had 100 Spider-Man 300s. All grade ranges though. Definitely 9. I've had a couple 9.8s, a handful of 9.6s, much lower 8s, 7s, 6, stuff like that. So I probably had a couple hundred in my lifetime. But I've been doing this for 15 years. They're not all 9.6 and 9.8s. That should raise a massive red flag. Like, how is this person getting all these? They don't exist, let alone what is he sending them in? And if he's sending them in for a reholder, wouldn't that raise a flag? Like, hey, this customer, all he sends in is pretty much reholders. Like 90% of the stuff he sends in are all reholders. Like, that's not a red flag to you at all? Stupid. Here's another one. That was interesting. Amazing Fantasy 15. It had Stan Lee written on the first page. It gets a signature series. You know what he did? There's a lot of books out there before, because it says Stan Lee 86. That means Stan Lee signed it in 1986. I might be pretty dumb, but I'm pretty sure that CGC did not exist in 1986. How did they get a 6.5 signature series when CGC wasn't even around to verify it? Because see, if you want to get this thing signature series with the little yellow label and all that kind of stuff, CGC has to be there and watch it as the person signs it. And they look at it and look, I believe that you are the real Stan Lee, and we all give you that yellow label. That's how they do it. So how did this not raise a red flag? How? Amazing Fantasy 15, Stan Lee, 86. What does that mean? It wasn't 86 years old when he signed it. No, it was 1986 when he signed it, on the first page in pen. When you get a signature book, rarely ever do they put it on the first page, close it, and then CGC gives it a yellow label. I mean, they could, but most of the time it's on the cover. So that's another, come on. The person that's regrading this Fantasy 15 gets a 6.5. So the person that's probably bought Amazing Fantasy 15, it was signed on the first page back in 1986. They cut it out, slid it in. I mean, the balls on that person and the stupidity on CGC. You would think that it's like, they even put it on the label. Stan Lee, 86. They put that on the label. How does that raise a red flag? I'm like, wait, how could you get a yellow label if it's signed in 1986 when CGC clearly didn't exist? I mean, most of the people at CGC probably weren't even born yet. Ridiculous. So it gets a signature series. There's a couple other ones like that. Spider-Man 1 got a signature series. Clearly, it's like, I get books like that all the time. It'll be signed, and it was a long time ago before CGC and before people got them verified and things like that. So it just sits there, a signature book. But when you send those in, you usually get a green label, and it's basically qualified, which is an unverified signature, which is kind of dumb anyways. I don't know why they do that, but whatever. They should not do it green, because the green one, people think it's like missing a page. Missing a page in a signature is not really the same thing. Nevertheless, Spider-Man 121, signed by Stan Lee and Jerry Conway, got a 9.8. Probably not a 9.8. Obviously not a 9.8. Duh. Some Daredevil 1s, a couple Fantastic 412s. That was very interesting to me. I was like, why Fantastic 412? In case you guys want to know Hulk 181s, 19 Hulk 181s that were probably all missing the coupon. So there is 19 just from this person alone, and just from this person's one account. He could have multiple accounts. He could have multiple friends doing this. I have no idea. But he's probably been doing it for a long, long time. 19 Hulk 181s out there are missing a coupon and say they're not. The grade ranges were anything from like a 9.4 all the way down to like 7.0. Handful Hulk 340s. 11 to be exact. This one I found odd. Journey of the Mystery 83, first Thor. There's an 8.0, 7.0, and a 6.5. Now, either that 8.0 is a restored book, because these are all unrestored, restored book, and he slipped it in there, or it's missing a page, or it's a lower grade. Now, whoever gets that 8.0, 7.0, 6.5, let's just hope that it's just a lower grade. So he slipped in a 7.0, but it's really 8.0. Now, that sucks, but it's not as sucky as, you know, it's a restored book and we're missing a page, because missing a page in a restored book is going to cut the value in half. If you have an 8.0 down to a 7.0, it's like, you know, lose a little bit, like 10 or 20%, depending on the comic itself and things like that. Like that 7.0 and 6.5, if it's like really like, instead of a 7.0, it's like a 5.0. It's like, yeah, you won't lose 50% compared if it's restored or not. So that really sucks. You know, Marvel Superheroes, Secret Wars 8. There's 15 out of 9.8. 2 Tales of Suspense 39s, both 7.0. That leads me to believe that the guy really had a 7.0, sent in a 7.0. He got the 7.0 label, cracked out, put some restored books. So a couple of restored ones or missing coupons. This one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 192. First printing. He clearly probably sent in a second print. Third print you could tell pretty easily, but second print is a little harder. The color is slightly different, but yeah, probably did that. So I don't know. There's lots to discuss about CGC and what they're going to do forward. Yeah, there's... man, they better come out with, when they announce what they're going to do, they literally can't just say, oh, it's fraud and we're going to stop that person, blah, blah, blah. They have to change their entire case. They have to. They have to change their entire model on how they do reholders. That's the only way it's going to work. You cannot continue with this case. It's too compromised. I saw people online do it pretty easily. And I like always in my back of my mind, I'm like, couldn't you, kind of heat it up and take it apart? Because all you have to do is reverse engineer how they put it together, and that's heat and glue. So couldn't you just reverse that? But that's about it. It was just a thought. I never really went more in depth beyond the thought. So they better come out with a banger on what they're gonna do to fix it, because they're $500 million. No, right? $500 million. I think they got 500 billion or 500 million. I think they got. So they have a lot riding on it. They have a lot of money. They can figure it out. But let's just hope that the people that are making the decisions aren't morons. So I do not put much faith in that. I mean, I don't know Matt Nelson personally. He's the president. I imagine he has to be somewhat bright, but they can make some really stupid decisions. One of the stupid decisions is they're not going to change the case. That's a stupid decision. They're not going to do anything with the reholdering on how they're going to go about doing that. All sorts of stuff. So I have a bunch of ideas. I said it in my previous video, but you can't just, with all the information out there, you can't just do nothing. You literally can't. If they do nothing, so stupid. All right, rant over. Now let's get into comic books. All right, let's go up this X-Men number 1.5. It is not missing anything. It's just completely split. $35.99. Of course, all this stuff is on my website at collectorscomics.com. Oh, I forgot. I keep on forgetting to tell you guys. We have an auction coming up, and so consignments. We're open for consignments, so you guys better hurry up and get in your consignments, because we only have till the 12th, and that's when we have to get them in by. So I don't want people sending them on the 12th, and then they get here, the 28th, and then all of a sudden it's like, sorry, our auction starts the first week of February. So get in your consignments. Collectorscomics.com, really easy. Just fill out the little form, send it to me. That's all you got to do. And get them in. We already got a ton of stuff coming in, so got a ton more stuff coming in. Been talking to people, stuff like that. Getting a collection to come in. All right, Spider-Man 201, $349 in a 9.8. Yeah. Blue Beetle. I still have not seen that movie. 98169. I thought about watching it the other day, and then I ended up watching. What did we watch? Oh, we watched that Sound of Freedom, I think it was called. Pretty good. I mean, good in like a. I mean, like, I'm happy that it had a happy ending ish, kind of. I don't know. More of like opened your eyes to the terribleness that's out in the world, and so somewhat of a happy ending, but I don't know. This is it's a very dark and disturbing movie because it is reality. That's the thing that sucks. I don't know if you got. I don't want to go into it on the channel, but if you guys have seen it or know what it's about, then you know what I'm talking about. I would never want that job in a billion years. In a billion years, to watch those videos all the time and track down those types of people. Like, imagine going home. You can't get. I'm the type of person, like, if I see something like horrible, I can't get the image out of my head, and so I would. No, thank you. $99. See, like Jurassic Park, those people got eaten in there. I didn't care. I know it's fake. And I don't care if that image pops into my head where the lawyer gets eaten on the toilet. Great movie. Jurassic Park, great movie. Captain America. 241, 94, 125. Oh. Daredevil. 18, right? 18, 85, 219. Then we got Spider-Man, Nicolas Cage, Spider-Man, 96. 299. Now, I think a lot of people are going to be worried about, I'm going back to the CGC thing, are going to be worried about their books. Is this blah, blah. Like, you're not going to find a 4.0. No one's going to take the time to go through all that to put in a 4.0 Spider-Man 129. Like, that would just, it's not worth it. Like, no one's going to do that for this book. Like, the books, like, the people that are taking the time and they're going through all that kind of stuff and whatever, they're doing, like, the books that I mentioned. They're only going for, like, the 9.8s or maybe a 9.6. Maybe it says, like, a Hulk 181 to switch out the coupon. Things like that. Things that are going to give them thousands and thousands of dollars to return. Because the thing is, like, this book right here, okay, so you're going to need an actual Spider-Man 129. So let's say you buy one with the coupon cut out. What is this book worth? 4.0, $9.49. Okay, so let's say you buy one that is a coupon cutout, right? Incomplete. You know what you're going to have to pay for something that's around, let's say you get it at a 3.0, 3.5 incomplete, because you can't be like super, like you can't have like this whole thing missing and they call it a 4.0, right? Like, you know how they tear off the top of the cover? You can't have just like big chunks missing, all that kind of stuff. So it has to look passable because you're selling something. Someone's going to look at this and be like, I'm not buying that, even though it says 4.0 on it. You know, I'm not going to buy a 9.8 that literally is missing half the cover, right? They're going to be like, no. So it has to look passable. So you need something that's probably a 3.0, 3.5 or whatever. And say it's missing a coupon. So you're like, oh, okay, missing a coupon 3.5. You know, I buy it like that. This sells for like $9.49. You're going to have to pay probably like $600 for the other book. Okay, you pay $600. Then you send it in. And then you have to pay that grading fee to get it regraded and stuff like that. Okay, so you're doing all that work and you're making a couple $100. I guess that's, some money, but they're not going to go through all that trouble for that. So, and same with this. They're not going to, a 9.6. They're not going to give you a 9.6 of this book. What did I say? It was like 2 something, $2.99. They're not going to, let's slip in a 9.2 or 9.4. It's not even worth it. So the only books you really have to worry about are those 9.8s, and that kind of sucks, is now you have to kind of look at books that are like a 9.8, and then you can look at it and you're like, oh, this does look like a 9.8. But then you're like, wait, is it missing something? Is it restoration? Is there the restoration? I mean, you can look at a book and you kind of see if there's restoration, but if it's restoration on the inside that you can't tell, or missing a coupon or a page or something like that, that's going to be the tough one. First appearance of Deathlock. So you won't have to worry about this one. This one right here. This is pretty much guaranteed to not be whatever. $2.69 for 9.2. So you won't have to worry about most of these books. I think pretty much all these books on here. I mean, the biggest book I had was the X-Men 1, but that was 0.5. I mean, How could they possibly make it any nicer? Thanos 448, 35, 779. Hulk 182, 60, 139. Peacemaker. I love this show. 35, 179. I can't wait for season 2. I thought it was a great show. It was like a sleeper hit. I didn't expect it to be good at all, and I really enjoyed it. John Cena was actually very funny. Very, very funny stuff. First appearance, Shang-Chi, Special Marvel Edition 15, 65, 189. And last one, sorry, not as many comic books, more ranting. Tales Spence, first classic Iron Man suit, 35, 249. So not as many comic books, but a lot more ranting, and I know you guys love it when I rant. So yeah, head over to collectorscomics.com. Send in your stuff for the consignment. Like I said, beginning of February is the start of the auction. Our deadline is the 12th of January, which I believe is a Friday. So today is the 4th. So you guys have a bit of time. So fill out the form, send it to us. You know, usually if you're within the United States, it's like 3 days mail. So if you're foreign, might take a little longer. So better get on that. Foreign, I mean, just not from America. Okay, collectorscomics.com. Have a great day.